Coming to you from the Fox Sports 1270 studio in downtown Palm Springs, this is the Coachella Valley Sports Report with your host, Coach B.
This is the Coachella Valley Sports Report. I'm your host, Coach B, and we are broadcasting from the InjuryFirmLaw.com studios on Fox Sports 1270 AM. And as always, we are streaming 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. And everybody out here, Friday mornings, if you get a chance, make sure you give us a view on Fox 11 Palm Springs. This face that is made for radio, they allow me to be on TV, so I certainly appreciate that. And, I just want to do a recap. In studio today, let me get my manners in order. I want to make sure that I set the table. That's what they call it in the industry. We're going to have Palm Springs Power in studio with us. Some of the players, the young men from the organization, as well as Stephen Buxton's going to be in as well. He does our high school game of the week. Fantastic job he does. He broadcasts with the Power as well. And then we're going to have Coach G in studios also. She's going to, I saw the way she was looking at me. This gut takes time to get it to where it is. So, she was probably thinking to herself, he needs to put those donuts down. But it's okay. We'll talk about that when she gets in. But I want to say thank you. Some quick information with the Palm Springs Power. I want to say thank you to them because Andrew Starkey allowed us once again to use his house, the Palm Springs Stadium, to do the second annual Coachella Valley Baseball All-Star Classic. And what a fantastic game it was. My guy Blake came out. I felt honored. My guy Blake from News 3 came out, and he did an interview with us, and he shot some footage for the game. So we're excited to have him out. Blake on News 3, the sister station of Fox 11 TV in Palm Springs. But let's go ahead and jump on in because we have a packed show. We want to make sure we get this going. Gentlemen, we have some players, and again, like I said, one of the broadcasters from the Palm Springs Power. So let's go on my side. We're going to go left to right. That'll be your right to left, but because we're facing each other. For anyone who's at home and you don't see it, you'll see it soon on YouTube at Fox 11. We'll get you the footage. But gentlemen, go ahead and get up on that mic. Get on in there and introduce yourself to the Fox Sports Radio audience.
Yeah, how's it going, guys? My name is Cameron Whitty. I'm a pitcher for the Palm Springs Power.
And then we have another pull that mic up. Pull it on up. There you go. Pull it on up. And what was I thinking about? I didn't even set your mic up. And if you need to swing it up, go ahead and do that because I want to make sure that he's looking cool with the glasses, looking good. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the Fox Sports Radio audience.
What's up? I'm Maury Conley, number 5. I play power baseball, and I'm a current player at the University of Tennessee Martin.
Okay, and then the man that needs no introduction, but go ahead and introduce yourself to the Fox Sports Radio audience.
Yeah, I'm Stephen Buxton. I'm one of the broadcasters. I've been around here for a couple years. Worked with you, Coach B. I've worked with Bally's and a handful of other organizations in and around baseball and just out here in general in the Coachella Valley.
And I love what you're doing for the local market. You're a local guy from Xavier, so you know the Valley, you love the Valley, and you're really getting entrenched with sports. I love what you're doing, there's very few times I say this that I think someone has a better broadcast voice than me, and that's one of the things I can definitely say that about you, Stephen. My middle name is Stephen, so I love the name. So that's what they call me. I'm Brian Stephen A. So that's the real name. So I'm not Stephen A. I'm Brian Stephen A. So, but young men, I want to talk to you. One thing, Cameron, that I wanted to talk about that was interesting, and I was thinking about this because I think I remember seeing in the movie Insomnia years ago, and I want to go to this city in Alaska where the sun never sets. Have you ever been in that city or been in that? Because you're from Alaska. Have you ever been there?
Yep, I have been. So growing up, we'll do baseball tournaments out in Fairbanks, so it's more towards the central interior of Alaska. And it'll be first pitches are starting at anywhere from 10 p.m. to like 1 in the morning. Dudes are getting out, no stadium lights, and you're just playing ball under the natural light. We get a little bit down in Anchorage, about 8 hours south of Fairbanks, but nowhere near the 24 hours of daylight up like the tournaments do up in the interior of Alaska.
That is always amazing because Alaska, my bucket list. I know everyone wants to go to all these exotic areas, Turcos and Caicos and all that, Jamaica and all that. I want to go to every state in the U.S. That's my bucket list. I think I'm up to maybe 24 states, but that is my bucket list because every time you go to a different state in America, it's kind of a different influence and sphere of influence. Mm-hmm. Like when I went to Hawaii last year, and I didn't know there was such an of Oriental influence. I didn't expect. I was thinking maybe like the native Hawaiians, but I didn't expect that. But I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it's always cool when you go to a different area and see the culture of every area. And you're playing locally here in California. What brought you from Alaska to California?
The heat. Can't beat the heat. So in Alaska, you got high school summer ball. It starts like end of April, which you don't get out here. It all starts earlier. So the first chance for college baseball, every player in Alaska knows you got to leave and go to the lower 48. And so for me, I just said I'd rather go where it's warm. And so that's what I chose to do and came out to SoCal, and I've been loving it ever since.
Well, there's warm and there's Coachella Valley. Yeah. So, I mean, this is blazing hot. And that's funny. So you guys call us the lower 48, huh?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yep. We're the one above, so everyone else is the lower.
Okay, yep. That's interesting, the lower 48. I like that. I learned something new. And you're playing college ball out here.
Yes, sir. I'm at just graduated from Westcliff, California. So indie ball is what's next for me.
Excellent. I absolutely love it. And then we have another young man. I'll let you go ahead and jump in there once again and let everyone know who you are. And tell me something interesting about you as well. You from Tennessee?
I'm from Mississippi.
Mississippi. What part of Mississippi?
Grenada, Mississippi. It's about 50 minutes from Oxford, Mississippi, where Ole Miss is.
Okay, so my entire family tree. My father, it was 9 of them. My mother, there were 6. My father's from Laurel. My mother's from Hattiesburg. I don't know how far away that is, but they're
South Mississippi.
Yeah. So the last time I was there, I was 16, and when I came back, I brought everything with me, so I didn't leave anything there. But I tell my kids all the time, they've probably got over 100 cousins there because my family, we traced our roots back over 100 years in that area of Mississippi. So what brought you out to California? It's a long way from home.
It is. Pretty much I just wanted to come get some summer ball experience, some at-bats. This is my first year ever playing just baseball because my first 2 years of college I played football and baseball. So it was a different jump trying to just focus on just purely baseball. So I was just doing that just to further my sport.
I got you, and I know you're young, so you weren't around when they played. But who's the better dual player, Deion or Bo? Deion. You know, I think the problem with Bo Jackson, because Bo Jackson's probably one of the best athletes to ever play. Bo Jackson just got hurt so early on. People were saying that Bo probably could have been a Hall of Famer in both, but he got hurt so early. But Deion, you can't beat prime time.
He had that confidence, too.
What position did you play in football?
I played wide receiver my first year, and then over the course of the summer, going into my sophomore year, they moved me to nickel, tried me out of defense, and it was pretty cool. And moving to baseball in that spring was pretty easy, doing all that backpedaling and then going to the outfield, and I transitioned pretty well.
So it's a nice feeling knowing you're not going to get blasted when you're out there playing football. You're just playing baseball. I just get out here and just hit the ball.
It was really easy. Going to in football, you get bigger, faster, stronger, and then going to baseball where you got an advantage over everybody. I'm taller than everybody anyway, so I have an advantage, and then I just go out there and play.
Yeah, you don't have to remind me how short I am. I appreciate that. But that's pretty cool to make that adjustment and do it. How you like it out here in sunny Southern California? Have you been to the beach yet?
I have not. It's a little different. It's not as hot as it is in Mississippi, but the sun does beam on you pretty good because you're in the desert. But it's been fun. My host family's been really, really good, and I love it out here.
Now, Steven, he said it's not as hot. He hasn't really seen summer yet, right?
Oh, just wait till July gets around here.
Right.
Mississippi is super hot.
Yes. Well, they had a game. I remember it was 2 years ago. It was 124 degrees. It was hotter than Death Valley, which is the hottest place in America. It was hotter than Death Valley that day. Summer gets nasty, but you're right. It's a dry heat because I remember being on the stoop in my family's house. And it was a normal day. You know, sun's up, and then it just starts raining out of nowhere, and then it dries up, and then you just start sweating. I was like, oh, that's so gross. But that's that humidity. It's like, it's crazy.
It is bad.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yes, I don't miss that. But nonetheless, Steven, tell me a little bit about I know you said you're doing some things, and you're over there with Bally's, but how's this journey been from you going from, getting in with the Palm Springs Power, and now it's really starting to go for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun. Basically, it all started probably March, my last semester of college. I realized I didn't have anything lined up. I emailed Tyler Hughes, basically begged for a job with the Power. And I did that. I've been working, odd jobs on the side just to like make more money when I'm not working with the Power. And I ran with that, went to the Winter League. I've just gone back for the past 5 seasons between the summer and the winter, and I found a couple other opportunities through it. I've met some people. I've met you. I've met some of the people with the news stations. I've got a couple radio opportunities with you and then other stations as well. And then most recently just lined me up with, I'm going to be calling games for an Atlantic League team, the Charleston Dirty Birds, later in this season. And then I've got a potential opportunity on a radio station. Not going to say anything about that until it actually, goes through, but I've been talking about that.
That's pretty cool. And one of the things that, and this is one thing you educated me with last year, and I know we may have some new listeners this year. Not only are you all doing the Palm Springs Power, you're 4 days a week. There's also a college games as well in the same day, right?
Yeah, so they've got another summer league. It's all in-house. It basically runs the same as the California Winter League does. There's 2 games a day. It's 7 days a week. It starts so Monday's report day. It's the Power Summer Collegiate League. I think there's 9 teams. I need to get the numbers straight, but I think there's 9 teams. They all play at either Palm Springs Stadium or the backfield, right next to the high school. And there's 2 games a day. It's 7 days a week until 4th of July.
This is the Coachella Valley Sports Report. I am your host, Coach B, and we are broadcasting from the InjuryFirmLaw.com studios on Fox Sports 1270 AM. And as always, we're streaming 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. And if you're in the Coachella Valley on Friday mornings, make sure you check out the Coachella Valley Sports Report on Fox 11 Palm Springs. And Amari, we just wanted to talk to you because we were talking about just the experience, you being here and being ready for that All-Star game that Steven was talking about. Because I tell you, those college players, when they put together a solid team. And I would say that was probably the most intense game last year. And like I said, it was a walk-off win. Are you guys ready for that? And what has your experience been here, like with the host family and everything in Palm Springs?
I am ready. The host family thing has been a really good thing because it teaches you adaptability in different areas. With this sport, you're moving a lot. So I learned a lot about the host, and she learns a lot about me, and it's been great. California, it's been different for sure because I've never got the West Coast vibe. I've always been in the South my whole life. So being in the West Coast has been a lot different and it's a lot of different things to see, and it's fun. But I'm waiting for that game. It's going to be a lot of people there, and hopefully we can give them a win.
It's going to be a great game. And, people who don't live this way, they call it the West Coast. We call it the best coast. That is us. This is where you want to be, California love. But I'll ask you guys both, is in either one of you can answer it. And Amari, since you were just talking, what made you fall in love with baseball? What is it about baseball that just got you loving the sport?
Well, my mom actually, she didn't know anything about baseball because nobody in my family really played it other than my grandfather. And one of my mom's good friends named Sharonda Ware, she convinced my mom to let me play. I was about 3 or 4 years old, and since then I kind of took off with it, and the coach kind of helped me take off. And then when I was 9 years old, she had passed away from a stroke, and then since then my passion has never fallen short because I've always wanted to get to where I wanted to go for her.
And I'm sorry to hear that. And that's so important with your health. And that's why I try to stay on top of my blood pressure and things like that, because that's one of my greatest fears. I'll be 51 this year. I know I look good for my age, but I'll be 51 this year. And it's just one of those things you just want to stay on top of, and that's so important. But you said one of your coaches helped you as well develop into the baseball player you are, early on coaches.
Yes, sir.
So that's good. So that's absolutely good. And then Cameron, what made you get involved and love it up there in Alaska?
Yeah, so I started playing T-ball when I was about 3. Kind of just took off with it, and I don't know why, but for some reason, a sport where like you almost have to fail and it's impossible to not fail, that's what like took hold of me for my entire life. Something that you always are going to fail at and always have to figure out how to work through and figure out what you got to do different for the next time. It took over my life, and it's been one of the greatest things ever. Every single day it's something you can work on, whether it's throwing a ball, not throwing a ball, moving around. Like there's some every day that you have to work towards to outwork other people so that you can keep chasing to get to your goals. And there's just something like it's stupidly beautiful how it works. Like you have to get out there and throw a ball at people with a stick and hope you're doing something better than they are, and that's all it is. And if you fail, all you have to do is bounce back and keep going. And I just fell in love with it my whole life, and so I'm still playing it 23 years later. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And, it's funny you say that because in football, if a quarterback goes 3 for 10 in passes, they was like
terrible.
In basketball, if you go 3 for 10 from the free throw line, you're getting out of there. Yeah. But, in baseball, you'll do it. But how did you find out about the power? You're playing locally, but you're from Alaska. But how did you find out about the power and getting involved with the team?
So I had a teammate at Westcliff. His name was Tyler Nelson. He played a little bit of power baseball, and then he played under Coach Casey for College of the Desert. So he had that connection for me, and he hit me up and said, hey, do you have anything for this summer? I said, nope. And he's like, what if I had something potentially for you? I said, I'd be all in. Casey called me like 2 days later, and the rest was that, and now here I am. So big thanks to Tyler out there. And yeah, so looking forward to just making the most of it.
And I'll tell you, Starkey, he really hit a home run with Coach Casey. He's been really successful with the power, and he's with COD. I mean, he lives and breathes baseball. Does he walk around with the baseball in his hand all the time?
Seems like it, at least in his pocket. He's got one on him somewhere.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a really, really good home run. And how about you, Amari? How did you get? Coming back from, because you're going to school in Tennessee now,
yes, sir,
right? And you're from Mississippi, and then to come all the way to California. How did that work itself out?
Well, during the season, my godfather had asked me if I really wanted to play softball, and I told him I did. And he told me he'd make some calls for me, and one of a coach that I know reached out to Casey, and Casey called me and asked me if I wanted to play summer ball and said he needs some outfielders. And I said, for sure. I don't care how far I have to drive to play some baseball. So this is what I'm doing.
Did you drive all the way out here?
27 hours.
Oh, my goodness. I remember being a kid when I was 16. Last time I went to Mississippi, my uncle had a bus, and it took us almost 3 days to get there. I mean, that is a long – that's serious. You're going through Texas and all that. And is it me, or is Texas like the biggest state in the world? I mean, it takes forever to get through that state.
Well, actually, I didn't drive a lot of the hours. My brother did, and I dropped him off at Phoenix, and then I drove the 4 hours to get to Palm Springs. So it's pretty easy.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad. Okay, so he stopped in Arizona. So that's Stephen and I territory. ASU, GCU, it's all good. So, but the power were always around when you were in high school. Is it something did you ever go to their games and want to be involved with that?
Yeah. So the power started off. Andrew Starkey had his first inaugural season in 2004, and since then it's been every single year. They only missed 2020 with COVID. But yeah, no, I grew up, I was hosted by them for like Little League night a handful of times when I was playing with the Palm Desert Rec League. And yeah, I've been to games here and there. I wasn't around as much in high school just because I was, off doing baseball, football, whatever, thinking I was some sort of a, worthwhile athlete, even though I was riding the bench 90% of the time. But yeah, no, I always had it in the back of my mind, and I just thought, it's in my backyard. Might as well reach out.
Right. And, it's funny, Stephen, you say that because same thing with me. My position, I think it's officially listed at my high school. People say point guard, shooting guards. Mine said bench. So that was my official position, and that's why I got into sports broadcasting, because not every, if you suck at sports, you broadcast. That's at least my experience. I'm sure you were much better than me. Because even like if I stood up to stretch on the bench, my coach would look at me like, you better sit back down. Like, okay, all right, Coach Shelton, I got you. No problem. But with the Palm Springs Power, tell me about it. You guys are 4-1, and you guys are just won 10-2. I mean, you guys are having a fantastic start to the season.
Yeah, they're 4-1. They start off the season walking off 3 in a row. They walked it off on opening day, and then the 2 games following. They did take 1 loss, but they've actually been playing really, really solid opponents. There's a lot of guys who are either Division I bounce backs at their junior college or at some of the best Division IIs and Division IIIs in the country. And even some of the rosters, like Utah came out here, the Utah Yaks, and their roster from top to bottom had a bunch of Division I guys. And then the other day when we were playing against, I forgot what the team name was, but their starting pitcher was at Gardner Webb and Ball State, and just up and down the lineup. It's been a lot of really good opponents. So part of that too is like the reasoning for why the scores are so much closer than they typically are, because, in previous years you're seeing 11-2, 12-5, something like that, and it's just been neck and neck so far. Of course, last night was a little bit more of a, throwing the towel eventually when it was like 10-0 in the fifth. But yeah, no, it's been a really good season so far. The team's just getting better every game, and what I'm surprised by is how many guys up and down the lineup are just grinding out at bats. At one point, the other day, there was a game where the opposing team had, I think by the seventh inning, there were 20 at bats that were 3 pitches or fewer, and the Power had something like 26 at bats that at least reached a 3-ball count.
Wow.
So it was just, the guys are just grinding
wearing
through
the
them.
pitches
They
out.
are wearing through these at bats, and Cameron over here would hate to face the lineup because it's just fouling it off every third pitch, and you at some point you just can't do anything, and they're just making long innings.
Right, absolutely. And you're a pitcher, so Cameron, you have I saw the hat is the upside down A hat. So who's your baseball team?
I do like the Angels. I
said A's. I mean Angels. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
A
yes.
for Angels, but I just don't support their management, their ownership. Can't support it.
Right.
Can't get behind it. So a little upside down, just as like a, yep.
Yeah, they had a pitcher there, I think, for 8 years. I can't remember his name. I wonder whatever happened to that guy. But I don't know what. I think he went to the Dodgers. So yeah.
Yep.
But who is your favorite pitcher in the league right now?
Favorite right now.
You can say Ohtani. It's okay.
No, I'm looking at Skeens, Misiorowski. Who's the Toronto? Toronto has a pitcher
Savage.
who's pretty short. No, the other guy. I'll figure his name out
Barrios?
at some point. Yeah, Jose Barrios. Old pitchers, Greg Maddux.
Yeah, Greg Maddux
absolute
is
role
nice.
model. Like if you can't pump 100, make sure you know exactly where it's going. That's kind of how I try to pitch, is just know exactly where my pitches are going and how they move and call it good. So, yeah, facing our team, it would suck. They foul off way too many balls. So, as a pitcher, you don't want to see that. As a teammate, you absolutely want to see that. But as a pitcher, our hitters are doing really good 1 through 9, and the bench guys coming off.
And is that something, speaking about the pitching, when I think about that, let's say it's a full house, and then they'll foul off like 3 or 4 times in a row. Does that like irk you? Or like, because the pitcher's trying to do that, right, to wear you down.
Yep, it does. So you get 4 tries and if you don't throw 4 or strikes within those 4 pitches, they get a free base. So you're always trying to just pound the zone and keep throwing strikes. I have a story from this spring. Got to about a 14 or 15 pitch at bat with a guy, just fouling off. He was at like 10 foul balls in a row, and he had 3 balls on him for like 12 straight pitches. So I couldn't miss, and if he missed, he was out. And so it was like just all pressure on for 15 pitches. And I ended up on that 15th pitch just pulling one and walked him. And like all he had to do was fight for 15 pitches until I made the mistakes. So there's a lot of mental grind and like mental challenges with it also. So being able to just kind of stay in there and keep competing, especially the next batter after that, you got to get good at just always moving forward and staying pushing.
Yeah, because what's interesting about baseball, like when you're in football, everyone is critical. Every person has to do their job on a football play to win. Same with basketball. But in baseball, it's truly you and the batter.
Yep.
You're one-on-one with each other. And when you're staring each other down, if someone got the best of you, and they're flipping their bat, or if you struck them out, is that something you remember?
Absolutely. If I strike them out, I remember it just because I know they want their revenge against me. And then every baseball guy, it's the exact same way. If they get me the first time, like it's my whole job to make sure they don't get that again. Same thing, like it's what I expect from the hitters. If I strike them out, like all they're wanting to do is beat me. Like that's the most embarrassing thing. They don't want me to beat them again. And so that's the war for the whole game. Every time you're out there on the mound is you got to do your job so that all your teammates can do their job, so that the other team can't do their job.
Right.
If that makes sense. So it's a whole just battle the whole time, making sure you're always in there. But I love it. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
I love it. That's something I've always wanted to see, because it's truly you two against each other as you're playing. And Amari, how's that bat flip? I mean, are you? I mean, how we doing with that?
I usually don't bat flip. I usually just hit them and just drop the bat and just jog.
You act like you've done it before.
Yeah, I'm not really into the trash talking thing, because once you trash talking, then it gets in the other things. So I just play ball, go home. That's all I am.
There you go. It plays with respect and dignity. I love it. That wouldn't have been me. That's probably why I didn't play. But what are your goals? I know you have goals and aspirations. What are you looking to do with the game of baseball?
Be a Hall of Famer. That's the ultimate goal. Since I was a kid, I've always had the passion to go to the MLB. I just never had the extra ear in my head, like for the training. I never really had money to get that kind of stuff. So it's always just been self-driven or no driven. So it's just I've wanted to do it my whole life, and I've tried to do other things to negate it, but all those things, God will show you really quickly that those things don't really matter. He puts one thing in your life to do it, and if you don't do it, then it'll show.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to do baseball ever since.
It'll work itself out. I remember it's funny you say that because where we grew up, it's right on the border of Fontana and Rancho Cucamonga. My son went to Etiwanda High School, and when he played, there was another kid at Rancho Cucamonga. His name is CJ Stroud. You may have heard of him. He's the starting QB for the Texans. He said the same thing. He couldn't go to the camps. He couldn't go to the clinic, so he just learned how to play on YouTube. He taught himself how to play quarterback by watching videos on YouTube.
Right.
And it's just one of those things, if you have that desire. Driving from Mississippi to California, you've got it. You've definitely got that desire, and I tell you, I don't want to drive back to Mississippi. That's a long drive.
I've been dreading it.
Yes, that is a long, long drive, but you have the ambition. You'll get it done. We definitely appreciate you young men coming in. And what are your goals, Cameron?
Professional baseball.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like. I want to keep throwing till my arm falls off, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like God's given me a gift, and I feel like I'd be stupid to hang up and give it up early. So I'm just going 110% until I can't anymore.
Yeah, and that's good. And what city is your school in?
Irvine. Downtown Irvine.
I'll tell you this, man. If I didn't know, you look like a Californian, man. I mean, you got the look. I mean,
it's rubbed off on me a little over the years.
Don't leave us, man. You've got the look. So you definitely look like a Californian. I love it, man. I am a California native. Like I always tell my mother, I'm a first-generation Californian, and I love it. So we love it. We love to embrace it. And what about you, Steven?
I mean, I'll take baseball. I'll take really any sport as long as it takes me, whether it's in California, Bristol, or down in really any corner of the country or world. Just want to go and take the play-by-play thing as long as I can. Not that talented at that many other things, frankly. I'm not, I wasn't exactly the 4.0 student throughout high school. Again, not athletic at all, and calculus kicked my butt in college, so I decided to go the route that didn't require a ton of math. So it's basically I'm gonna have one goal at a time, and the goal right now is just to be able to make like working in sports a full-time thing. Being able to take pretty much what I went to college for and just at least make that what pays the bills.
And I totally get it. And it's funny because my original major was business administration. I did applied management because business statistics couldn't get past it. So I had to switch over, but it's a business degree. That's all that matters. And then you guys, as we said, the Palm Springs Power, make sure you check them out, PalmSpringsPowerBaseball.com. They play games every Friday, Saturday, and on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. They allowed us to come and use the house for the Coachella Valley Baseball All-Star Classic, so we appreciate it. So your next game is on tonight. You guys play at 7 o'clock, and you're playing against the SoCal Halos. So it's the SoCal Halos. SOCal Halos. You guys will play tonight. So make sure you go out and support them at the Palm Springs Stadium right there in Palm Springs. Go check them out. You can hear Steven on the call, and then you can see these young gentlemen out there on the field. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for coming in. We certainly appreciate it. Steven, continue to send players. It's summer, and high school starts to taper off, and we'd love to get more and more Palm Springs Power players in studio.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first one, and I'm sure I'll be texting basically half the team over the next couple of weeks. We'll get them out here. We'll get as many as we can out here.
Absolutely. It makes life a lot easier for me. So we appreciate you young men coming in. And like we say, California is open. Stay as long as you wish. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
You guys have a wonderful day. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Thank you once again to Stephen Buxton. And then we had Amari and Cameron from the Palm Springs Power in studios. Go ahead and check them out tonight at Palm Springs Stadium if you're a local. I know there's a lot of you listening to us around the world on TuneIn and the iHeartRadio app, but let's take this commercial break. break. This is the Coachella Valley Sports Report. I am your host, Coach B, and we're broadcasting from the InjuryFirmLaw.com studios on Fox Sports 1270 AM. And as always, we are streaming 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Make sure you check us out on Fox 11 Palm Springs. This is the Coachella Valley Sports Report. I am your host, Coach B, and we're broadcasting from the InjuryFirmLaw.com studios on Fox Sports 1270 AM. And as always, we are streaming 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. And make sure if you get up early Friday mornings, go ahead and check us out on Fox 11 TV Palm Springs. But, you know, the kids nowadays, because we do a lot of high school sports, like my daughter would say, she doesn't listen. She doesn't look or listen for anything as it's live. She's like, where is the on-demand link? So you can always go to YouTube. Go to our link on YouTube. Just search the Coachella Valley Sports Report or the iHeartRadio app if you search the Coachella Valley Sports Report. And I have a young lady in studio. I love when she goes by, because I go by Coach B. She goes by Coach G. But by all means, go ahead and introduce yourself to the, no further ado, G Elite Performance Training.
Hey,
go ahead and introduce yourself to the Fox Sports Radio audience.
Thank you, Coach B. It's an honor to meet you. I've seen you all around the Valley, in games and all kinds of stuff. So it's a pleasure to finally meet you in person. So yeah, I'm Coach G. I'm a founder of G Elite Performance. I'm a sports performance coach, and I train all types of athletes throughout the Valley. Youth, of course, high school, college, and pros. And so that's a short and sweet version. A little bit more about me. I'm a go-getter. Been hustling since I was like 18 just to like make a life for myself. So put myself through college, have a degree in mental health and exercise science. So, just been grinding. And now it's like time to really pour back into the community and build my business. So, that's where I'm at right now. It's been a good couple years, like building. And it's just, again, an honor to be able to share that, with more people now.
And that's good. And, one thing that you just touched on that is so important is mental health.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things. You say you have a degree in that. What made you have a passion for mental health?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. For me, it started out just, going through my own struggles, pretty much like any other mental health practitioner. Honestly, we go through our own struggles. Had a rough childhood, to be honest, transparently. I saw myself through that and just started to try to figure out, like, how can I better myself, right? It was just all self-betterment, and trying to level up and make a good life for myself. Like, for me, I just wanted to create a life well lived, and to do that, I needed tools, and I just wanted to learn how, and so I was curious, and I'm always curious, always staying curious. So then once I started to, actually practice mental health and work with clients, I realized, like, I actually want to be like boots on the ground, hands-on with more in person, with athletes, with students, with the youth, and help like girls gain confidence, girls like know how to use their voice, so all of these kind of things just like led me here, right? And so that's a little bit more to your question, but it's been a journey, right? And it started with me, and then now it's just progressed from there.
And I love it. You answered my question. That's what I was going to say. You who you are and what you do, and you gave me a great thing about that. But tell me a little bit about that, because I've seen your videos, great videos. And here's another thing that I've been on Fox Sports Radio for 10 years. We have the station now. Yeah. I put stuff up, and, I may get 10, 15 likes or comments or whatnot. And I put your post up. It's almost like immediately – it's like 40,000 views within an hour or two. You get 155 likes, and then you get like 20 comments, and it makes me feel insignificant.
No.
But tell me a little bit about yourself and the excitement that you bring. Tell me a little bit about you and what you do.
I don't know. I don't even like the attention. So to be here is rough. I'm like, this is not about me. It's about the athletes. It's about the community. For me, like, I think I just try to remember that, I'm a human just like all of my athletes, and, I'm trying to build something real, and that's, I feel like just being real is key, right? If you're real with people and you treat them good, and knowing that it takes a village, right? Like, it's not just me as a coach or a trainer. I train some of our Valley's like best athletes, right? Some of them, right? And some of them are still developing, and it's a beautiful process to watch. But I know that I'm just one part of their team, right? And I think that I I stay humble, right? Because like it takes a village. It's their parents, it's their other coaches, it's me. And there's just so much that goes into, developing an athlete. And so I think I just try to like be myself, be real, be honest, and just remember that like it's not me against, anybody, right? It's us together, like really building something real for these athletes. So I don't know. I just try to be myself, and I think that it somehow is paying off, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And just for the record, now that we're live on air,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the post now. 6,234 views. And I'm looking at my Instagram normal activity, and it's way above anything normal. And that's kudos to you. But when you think of trainers and being involved, and it's a male dominated sport, especially dealing with student athletes, what got you involved in doing this and saying, hey, that's something I want to do? Because you're working with athletes. It's not like, you're really, boots on the ground when it comes to that.
I'm in there. Yes, absolutely. And, being a woman in this field has been a mission, to say the least. It has been an uphill battle, and one that I would never trade. I mean, it's taught me resilience. It taught me, to persevere, consistency, discipline, all the things that we teach our athletes, right? So I try to practice what I preach to them. And, for me, like when I got started, I actually didn't get, I'm a former athlete. That's kind of where I sparked my passion. Of course, I was like, how can I bridge the gap between mental health and physical health, and also just being like in love with sports and having a passion for this. But for me, I actually started to volunteer at like a nonprofit when I lived in Los Angeles for a short amount of time, and it's called Girls on the Run. We don't have to talk too much about it, but it's an amazing program. But I was basically a head coach, which we taught social emotional learning skills plus physical development, and so for like youth, like 8 to 12-year-olds. And at that point, it solidified everything for me. I was like, this is what I want to do for sure. And this was like 6 years ago. So I'm like, relatively new to the performance training space. I'm still learning. I don't have all the answers, but I'm always going to stay curious. And if I don't have the answer, I'm going to find it, right? And so just again, like a little bit of background around like, that program, really solidified the passion. And then I just kind of kept like chipping away, like little by little, like what kind of coach do I want to be? Who do I want to be in this space? What kind of athletes do I want to train? So I started primarily working with girls, right, and women, females. And I'm happy to report that I've finally broken through, and I work with football players now, not just flag football players, which is amazing. There's so much room, I think, to be able to, support our girls, right? That's my primary, right, always. But to be able to be a woman in this space and to be able to say, like, confidently that I'm confident in my skills enough to train like football players. It's a big deal as a woman. It took a long time, but thanks to those athletes who trusted me, it has opened more doors. So I'm very grateful.
And that's pretty cool. That's a testament to your hard work.
Thank
you. And a part of that is a total athlete development. And that's one
right.
thing that is one of your benchmarks.
Yes.
And tell me, what is that and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of like use a system to train all my athletes. It doesn't matter which level they're at, right? If it's youth or professional, right? So I think of it as like 5 pillars. So like strength, speed, power, recovery, and mindset. So, I mean, there's so many trainers who have like systems in place and whatnot, but after doing some education with Exos, I'm not sure if you know about Exos, it's a performance training facility, but they also bring in and train trainers and sports performance trainers. So I did a mentorship and training program with them, and they really taught me a little bit more like depth around what it actually means to like develop an athlete, as like a human, right? Like a lot of trainers, I think, will just be like, oh, come in for a workout, get your workout in and go, right? But for me, it's just like, I'm responsible for these humans, right? Like their bodies are developing. And so I have a great responsibility to them to not only help protect their body, but not build performance on top of dysfunction. So for me, it's like, how do we look at like an athlete from like beginning to end, or like total athlete development is like what I like to call it, right? So how do we train their strength, their speed, their power, their recovery, and their mindset all together. And so for me, you know, again, it's not just a workout, it's a system that I utilize for every athlete, regardless of their level. And then this just helps translate into like their actual performance, you know.
And that's one of those things that it builds to my next thing I was thinking about. There's a ton of trainers out there.
Yeah.
What differentiates you from the other trainers and makes you because you've been successful at it?
Yeah, thank you. So I always start with assessing, and then we come up with a game plan, and then we execute, and then we reassess and refine, right? So for me, like that's kind of like the more system approach, right? And I think I think as well, you know, because I am a woman, I bring a different lens, right? A different touch to just the female experience, especially working with the girls. You know, I think representation does matter, especially for athletes, for women athletes, for female athletes, and that doesn't mean a male trainer can't come in and do a great job, right? But I do think that it is important for someone who looks like them, who has that female lived experience, to be able to come in and help them like on different levels. That is one thing that I think kind of like sets me apart a bit in this, you know, in this industry, especially in the Valley. But also just being able to like build like long-term development. I don't see that happening a lot, frankly, out here. And I may be wrong, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. But it's a short-term like approach, like, hey, like I've got something coming up, I need to train for that, and we'll get a few sessions in, or maybe like a season in, and then that's it. But for me, like the athletes that I work with, most of them are very long-term, you know, from development all the way to they're going into college, right? So I look at it like that, from that long-term development lens, and I don't promote that all the time, but that's what you get when you train with me. I'm going to help protect your body the best I can, and not just train you into injury, dysfunction, burnout.
And that's awesome. And once again, we have Coach G in studio, Fox Sports 1270 AM. And you know, when you hit something that made me think about it, it's just a different perspective, because there was a great 30 for 30 on ESPN called Let Them Wear Towels. And it was, the story it's a unique name, but it was a story of female sports reporters when they were trying to break into the industry. And they tried to keep them out because, you know, when you go into a locker room, and I don't understand this. I don't know why they don't lock the locker room down for 10, 20 minutes after a game. You go in there and you're like, whoa. But they were saying make them wear towels so females can go in there and report and do their thing. It's called Let Them Make Towels. And one of the reporters, I think it was Robin Roberts, she said they just had a different perspective. You know, normally when men ask questions, you hit that home run, you did this, you did that. But she said they would ask questions like, how did it feel when you hit that home run? Ooh. So it's just a different perspective when you say that. Yes. And no one has the right answer, no one has the wrong answer. It's just perspective, right?
Absolutely.
And that's one of those things when you think, what's your perspective? You say when an athlete's trying to get faster or stronger, what mistakes are they making? Mm-hmm.
That could be a huge range of things, right? I mean, we could come from the just, you know, they think running is going to solve the problem, like more and more reps, right? But I think we have to think about like speed is a skill. There's rhythm.
That I didn't have.
I mean, I don't know if I have it either, but I try. You know, I try to train myself into it, but it is a skill, right? We both have to train that skill. So there's posture, there's rhythm, there's force production, there's coordination, there's all these things that matter. And so like when you're younger, maybe 7 years old, like just go get the reps in, right? That's cool, that's good, you know, but then there's going to be a point in your development where we need to, you know, think about these other qualities. Also just having body awareness, I think kind of going back to what you had just said, is super important. Like when my athletes come into our session, we do like a readiness check, right? So how is their mind and how is their body? And actually figuring out like how do they actually feel, not just like I'm here to just work, or maybe I'm tired, but whatever, like let's just work. Like no, like these things actually matter, you know, because it informs me as a trainer, as a coach, to be like, wait, I might need to pivot something in this session. I might need to adjust something based on like if everyone's readiness level is like at a 3, I can't have them do all those things that I was going to have them do. I have to pivot in the moment, you know. And so I think that just going again back to that is so important, and being able to understand like what are the readiness levels, like what are their session takeaways, what are they actually gaining, what are they learning, and the same thing goes for speed, right? Like are we getting better? Are we not? Are we testing and measuring, you know, progress, or are we just out here doing stuff, you know? So I think again, it kind of all ties together.
Right, absolutely. And you think that ties into confidence.
Oh,
so,
for sure.
One of the most confident I know it's Jordan, but Kobe Bean, Bryant, and I we're closer in age. I think Kobe was 3 or 4 years younger than me. But when you think about, I remember Kobe had said something. He said, if I miss 5 shots in a row, the minute I miss the 5th, I say I'm going to hit the 6th. So how does confidence play a role in your players getting better and being more productive athletes?
I love that. Yeah. So, I mean, athletes are going to perform better when they trust their preparation, right? So they can trust themselves. And so I think confidence is huge. It's everything, right? So in order to perform, we have to be able to practice the skills, get confident, fail, win some, lose some, grow, learn. It's like life, right? And so I think it's not just a sports skill, it's a life skill as well that we're teaching them. And I think, when they see their confidence grow, I mean, it's everything, right? Like we see it just blossoming in front of our face, and it's a beautiful thing. But then also, like when they see like their measurement of progress increase, say they're running faster or sprinting faster, then also their belief change. So that's again why it's important to test and retest and actually have like some type of baseline that we can go from and learn from. That said though, I had one athlete I will never forget. She was so frustrated one session. She was breaking down, tears coming down her eyes, like just so frustrated. She was failing, right? She could not get it, whatever it was. I can't remember what we were doing. But I just had to stop and like have a conversation with her and just be like, girl, what is failure equals growth, right? If we want to look at it like that, or we could look at it like a lot of other ways, but let's look at it like failure equals growth. If we're not failing at some point, if we're always winning, then where is room for growth, right? And so just those little moments of like perspective shift, and then she tries again and maybe fails a couple more times but keeps trying and then gets it. It's like that just moment of just boosting that self-trust is everything. So she's not only trusting herself more, but then changing her frame of mind around, I can actually fail and it's okay.
Right.
So it takes that like pressure off. And so again, it's all tied together, right? Confidence, pressure, growth, failure, all of it just is intertwined. But we need to be able to have these conversations, in real time sometimes, not just work.
Right, and it's one of the greatest basketball player. He has a famous quote. He said, "I succeed because I failed," and that's one of those things that people need to know. But tell me about what's your vision for athletes in the Valley? What service can you offer? I know we're getting close up against the clock, but what can you offer athletes? I'm sure of all ages in the Coachella Valley.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, time flies. So, for me, like my bigger vision for G Elite is really just like raising the standard at this point. I want to give our local athletes access to high quality, high level coaching, testing, education, and continue to like have that as an opportunity for them that's close to home. I think a lot of our athletes have to go outside of the Valley to get high quality training. And I know there are a lot of programs, a lot of things here now, but I want to continue to raise that standard. Like, let's not settle just for whatever. I think let's continue to, educate. Let's continue to be curious, to work together as a community, to really bring like actual opportunities for our athletes. And especially for my female athletes, I think like even flag football, like a lot of my girls are going out of town, or even for volleyball out of town, like clubs, like there's so much opportunity out here, and we have some really talented athletes, female and male, and I just, I want to continue to raise the standard and help build like confident, resilient athletes that just are going to be durable for a long time, right? Get to college, play sports, come back and share their stories,
Right. And, the great thing is my guy, Robert Acosta, over the Desert Elite Showcase, he reached out to me. And when I first got to the Valley, he was one of the first people that embraced me and really helped us grow to what we are. Where you said you see us with the All-Star games and everything we're doing. Yeah. But, I'm fortunate he connected me to you, showed me your social media and said, hey, you need to get her on and showcase her. But if someone is interested in finding you, how do they get in contact with you if they want to get with G Elite?
Hey. Well, I think like the biggest is just Instagram right now, right? Like for me, everything's on Instagram. It's Coach G _G Elite. They can always email me, g@genevaellis.com. Simple, right? I would definitely invite parents and athletes, to come in for training or just to do an assessment or whatever, just to, continue to collaborate and build together. Again, it takes a village, and it's not just me. It's all of us working together, partnering together to make these athletes better. So yeah, reach out, Coach G _G Elite.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
you.
That was 20 minutes. I mean, that's
crazy.
good. Didn't that go fast?
It's so fast.
Yes,
so fast,
yes.
yeah.
Well, thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
This won't be the last time that we reach out to you. That mental health thing is really, really important to me. Just on a side note, I have 3 kids. My youngest had a thing with the mental health, so that's really important to me. We're actually working on a nonprofit. We have a nonprofit. We're working on getting involved with mental health.
Okay.
So that's, and I kicked
Well,
myself
hey, let me
because
know.
May was Mental Health Month, and I missed the boat on
We
it. So
missed it.
yeah.
Well, I'm here. Let me know. I'm happy to collaborate, share resources, whatever I can do.
I appreciate. We have that recorded. We have that on
Hey,
recording.
I
So
got you, I got
so when
you.
I reach out and
Hold
you're
me
like,
to it. Hold
and I'm
me to
blocked,
it.
like what? Like
Coach B, you're done.
there you go.
No,
There
just
you go.
kidding.
Coach B, Coach G can't beat that, right?
No, never.
I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for coming in. We
Thank
certainly
you.
appreciate it. Give me that Instagram once again to our audience.
Coach G _G Elite.
There you go. Make sure you reach out to her, one of the best in the business. And I love the story. It's one of those things where you overcome obstacles. Like buying this station wasn't easy, but if you I tell my kids this all the time. No one owes you anything. You are responsible for your own work. If you put in the work, you put in the effort, you can get it done. It took me 24 years to finish college. But I did it. I didn't give up. I didn't quit. So
And no one's coming to save you. We gotta keep putting the work in every single day. Discipline, consistency, be coachable. That's the last thing I want to say. Just be coachable and keep showing up.
there you go. She's coaching me up. There you go. So let's go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much
Okay,
again,
thank you.
Coach G. This is the Coachella Valley Sports Report. I'm your host, Coach B, and we're broadcasting from the injuryfirmlaw.com studios on Fox Sports 1270 AM. And as always, we're streaming 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. And make sure you check us out on Fox 11 TV, Palm Springs.
This is the Coachella Valley Sports Report on Fox Sports Radio.